I mean, it literally has, it has so undermined. I mean, that's why some people are ordaining homosexuals. I mean, look, it doesn't matter. If you can't take Genesis and read it, and it mean what it says, I don't know what you can take. And I mean, to me, it's so clear. Again, I'm not trying to be biased with it, but it's like, look, I've just read it. Did you ever read it? That's what I want to ask them sometimes. Ever just actually read the text? Not gone to, well, how can I prove I'm right? What is that? That's not an honest. See, this is why I say there's two separate issues. And this is how we need to look at it too. This is why when I talk to them, I'm going to be doing some forums, I hope, with some old earthers, do it. This is what I'm going to say. Look, interpret the Bible by itself, please. Just interpret it. You take the Bible, take standard rules of interpretation. The law, there are rules to interpretation, right? There's a way we discuss texts. I use this in the book, and of course you've all heard it. The young man who wants a message from God, and he's thumbing through, and Judas went out and hung himself. Oh, that's not good. Flips over again. Go thou and do likewise. Oh my gosh. He flips again. Whatever you do, do quickly, It's like, there's a law to studying the Scriptures, just as there's a law to reading your textbook. You don't take one sentence out of the textbook and make it mean something and build a case on it. It's just bad theology. It's bad interpretation. And that's why it's like, we have to get back to that. And to me, this is where the challenge really has to be. And then we have to discuss, and there are so many Christian scientists who actually have, I think, given really good evidence that the earth is young. There's good evidence for it. And there really is. How many people are on the earth today? Versus what there should be if man had been around for 2 million years. At a 0.5% growth rate, there'd be so many people we'd all be dying because we wouldn't have any place to grow food. It just doesn't fit. The known history of man, literally the known history of man, is at the most 8,000 years. And that probably has some little wiggle room in it above a couple thousand years. That's what we know. But now you have this whole huge monstrosity that's built out that there's no evidence for, but everybody believes in. So, anyway, any other questions?
Okay.
Yes.
I want to say something about what he asked. The other day I was in the Borders bookstore in Southwest Plaza.
Yes.
There was a lady who was getting addresses for people to sell a grill. It was a brand name. So she stopped me. She said, "Oh, do you want to sign up for this?" I said, "I don't believe in it." But something prompted, "Okay, do it." Okay, all right, I'll do it for you. After I signed, I asked the question, "Can you tell me where did we come from?" She didn't have answered, but I said, "Okay, I'll help you. I came from my mother's womb. How did this happen? One sperm, fertilized one egg. How
Right.
did this happen? Out of more than 1 million. It's
Right.
impossible, but it still happened.
Right.
It looks like somebody picked up a particular sperm and fertilized it.
Right.
Why I'm saying this? Because this is lottery.
Right.
So, how am I going to win? Somebody has to pick this up.
Right.
I asked her, "Can you pick up my card?" Anyway, so every day we run into situations like this. So
Right.
we can simplify and share the gospel with them.
Absolutely, and it's great. It's just simple. It's simple. I remember I was in high school, and the evangelist came, and he goes, "Long time ago," and he was a big guy, He's just, there was nothing, and he said, "Out of that nothing came everything." It's like, oh yeah, that doesn't work, does it? Right? Just that simple. I never forgot it. That's biblical thought. That's biblical worldview. Yeah.
I have something to say.
Good.
We've been learning in my class about the Greeks, and they say, "Oh, the Greeks believe everything came out of nothing," and we're like, and then a couple kids say, "Oh, that's nonsense. How could everything just all of a sudden come out of nothing and just nothing happened?" And then they say, and then you could say evolution. Everything came out of nothing, and that's all true, and we have all this proof. So in one instance it's nonsense, and then they say it's
Not nonsense in the other case, right. Right, but it's the same logic. It really is. It's really the hard thing, and one of the things that happens, and you need to be aware of your kids. We lose so many, they hear Bible stories and wonderful things at church and Sunday school, and they go to school and the teacher stands up and says it's a fact, it's a fact, it's a fact. Test tubes, all of these things. And we do not talk about evolution and creation in scientific terms. And that's why this is logical. This is what I presented as logical. You can't get away from it. I mean, even if you want to walk away from Christ at some point in your life because you want to go have parties, the truth is it's in your heart. When you've thought this through, when you understand it, you can't get away from it. It doesn't just leave. There are things that are planted in the kid's soul, so you need to talk to them about it rationally. And it's not about faith. I'll tell you this, it takes zero faith to believe that God exists. I've told people this and they got really mad at me. I believe by faith. I said, that's good. I'm glad. I'll just leave you alone. But the fact of the matter is it takes no faith to believe that God exists. I do not have any faith that a man built this building. I know for a fact somebody built the building. What's the difference in the universe? Nothing. Richard Dawkins said on Colbert Report one night, he said, well, I believe that all human things have a cause, but I don't believe that about the universe. I said, okay. That building, when are you going to land? You already jumped out the plane. It's like you lost your mind. But isn't that what Romans 1 says? They lose their thinking. The thinking becomes diluted. They don't think clearly. They're no longer logical. It's not logic. That's why we have this on our side. We need to be winsome. We need to be funny. We need to be kind. But we need to be direct. Come on, you really believe nothing caused everything? Please tell me how that happened. I'm anxious to hear this. Please explain that to me. They may not like that immediately, but the point of it is we're sowing seed in people's minds. We want to lead them to think properly. It's about a thought process, and they need to think right, and that's what we're trying to do.